It's the blog segment. The blog. The blog.
Well, this is the
Start
blog.
the new year, get a good blog in. You know, old-fashioned.
This is where
old-fashioned blog time.
This is where I talk about what's going on in my practice at 150 North Michigan, Suite 1120.
How do you get to Carnegie Hall?
Practice. That's how I got to 150 North Michigan. Practice.
Who's on first?
Yes, he is. And so I pick up the ball and I throw it to who? Well, of course you do.
What about to us?
No, you don't throw it to us. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about what I wanted to talk about today is because I had a client come in, and she is a professional, a business professional. As I said, these are the people that I help, business professionals, and they're very good at what they do. So whether it's a psychiatrist or a dentist or a lawyer, I have a lot of lawyer clients, or a doctor, some other or a chiropractor, or I mean, I could go through the list of professionals that I help, and generally these professionals are again, they're very good at what they do. But they have this one weak spot, and that's they're not very good at paperwork, and so the paperwork kind of gets to them, and it comes time to do their taxes, and they're behind in their bookkeeping, so they file an extension. Say, well, I'll get the extension. We'll do it over the summer, and I'll get caught up, and we'll go from there. And then the next thing you know, it's next year, and it's time to file in the next year's taxes. And they say, well, I'm behind from last year, but this year I'm going to do it, so I'm going to file another extension. I'll get both of the years done, and I'll get back. But this goes 1 year turns into 2, turns into 3, 4, 5, 10. I've had people much more than 10 years they haven't filed a tax return. And these are good professional people very good at what they do, but they're just, they get scared, and they get put into some box, and they're afraid to even think about it, and they're afraid about their reputation being damaged. So they think, people are going to find out that I'm a fraud. I know I'm really good at what I do, but I'm not. They're going to think I'm not because I'm not good at taxes. So I haven't filed my tax return. So I'm violating some rules, and of course you are violating rules by not filing your tax return.
Oh yeah.
And again,
ask Wesley Snipes.
And this goes and so this goes on, and again, these are people they're very good. They're professionals. They're very good at what they do. They just don't. They have this one spot, that they just. And again, it puts them they get frozen and they don't do anything. And every year, come January, February, when they start hearing everything, this anxiety gets to them again, and they can't sleep at night, and they're really having some trouble. And again, I think it goes back to this reputation thing. They're afraid that one day they're going to have a knock on the door from the IRS, and they're going to get arrested, and everybody's afraid and then everybody's going to find out that they've had this problem for years, and they're not that trusted professional that everybody thought they were. But let me tell you that you could still be a trusted professional and have this problem. But here's what you got to do. You gotta face it, and it's not as bad as you think it is. And this is what all my clients find out. The problem is not as hard to solve as you think it is. It's not. I shouldn't say that. It's not impossible. Because people say, well, there's nothing I know there's nothing you can do to help me, Attorney Leahy, because I've really dug this hole, and it's just impossible for me to get out of. And the answer is, it's not impossible. When I tell people, you're not the only one. This is a typical client of mine. They say, really? I thought I was the only one that did this, that had this problem. I figured maybe a couple of people, but you mean a lot of people have this problem? And the answer is yes, a lot of people have that problem. And there are ways to get out of it. So the first thing you got to do is face it. Right, and
seems easy enough.
Yeah, so
it's easier said than done, though.
Now again, people have problems because they're like, well, I haven't filed in 5 or 6 years or 7 years. How do I begin? And that's why they get frozen, because they don't know where to start. So that's what we help people do, right? We help you go back to square one. What do I do first? Well, the first thing you have to do is get your tax returns complete, and to do that, you have to do the bookkeeping. So you do the bookkeeping, and then you start preparing your tax returns. And once you get your tax returns done, now you can just start addressing making payments to the IRS, or trying to get out. Again, you want to pay them as little as you can going forward, because you don't want it to affect your lifestyle so much. And here's what people don't know. is that there are ways for you to pay what you can to the IRS and not everything that you owe. So you're afraid that number is going to be so big that you're never going to be able to pay it and that they're going to take everything away from you. And so that's another reason why people get frozen and don't file their tax returns. So the good news is you don't always have to go back 10 years or more for the tax returns. Sometimes you can get by with just doing 6 years of tax returns. Well, that's more manageable, right? So now I don't.
Math adds
so
up.
now I've just cut my problem in half. Maybe if I had a 10-year problem and I only have to go back 6 years, well, that makes it a lot easier for me to try to solve that problem. And it brings that anxiety level down. And so one of the first things that I tell my clients is when they hire me is the first thing I want you to do is give me the problem. Let me handle it. That's what I'm here for. And then you can get a good night's sleep tonight. Okay? Because a lot of my
Are
clients.
you trying to sell a pillow?
Yes, I am trying to sell a pillow. No, Jim. We're trying to sell. We're trying to sell.
I
peace
listen
of
to that
mind.
commercial and I go, wow, I'm surprised that we co-wrote that.
I'm trying to sell peace of mind. Okay, because that's what you need to get a good night's sleep. You need peace of mind. So you need
Isn't
to know
that the truth?
You need to know that you're facing these
Because too
problems.
many times, what is it out as we start this new decade? I mean, listen, you guys can sit there and have this cascading tax issue become worse and worse, and next thing you know, you'll forget it for a little bit, right? Just
Yeah,
like
you try to
anybody
put it
else does.
behind
You
you.
put it behind.
That's
I
right.
don't worry about it. But then all of a sudden, the big G comes a knocking, and who are you going to turn to when you need somebody? Next thing you know, it's already too late. So take control of the situation today. If not to address it, just get some advice on it.
Get some information. And that's
Information.
exactly
And
what it's
Open
about.
Tax Resolution is there for you. They wrote a book, for God's sake.
What's the name of that book? Deal with your IRS problem.
Thank you. I was going to
today.
say solve your IRS problem today.
Deal with your IRS problem today. And if you want a copy of that book, maybe that's the first step. Maybe the first step is not to go do your tax return. The first step is to get a copy of my book for free. Go to freeirsbook.com. Again,
You're not advocating for people
freeirsbook.com.
not to do their.
No, but the first step.
I understand. I'm just
the
clarifying.
first step should be to find out what your options are.
freeirsbook.com will be a great way for you to see what your options are, and then call Open Tax Resolution 312-664-6649 for any information that you might need when you're addressing this cascading tax issue. So define your decade with Open Tax Resolution. Again,
You're using your tagline?
AM 560, the answer.
The answer.